What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariel, if you didn't know. Today's video is gonna be all about lash extensions and length. So I get a ton of questions on lengths and what do they mean? How do you use them? When to know what lengths you actually need to use. I am gonna dive into all things length and I'm gonna get right into this video. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about how to find the length on your lash tray, because believe it or not, it may be something simple, but it's definitely a little bit tricky when you are a beginner and when you're learning about lash extensions. Sometimes it's not as simple as you think. First things first is I'm gonna grab a lash tray. So this is the Flowrish Lashes in the Luxe collection. So we're looking at volume lashes right now. So I'm gonna just pop this over on the end side, and all lashes will have this, whether it's on the base of the tray or like on the front or like the top, just like a little sticker somewhere. And what this is it's gonna be a couple stickers here that's gonna tell you the length, the weight, and the curl of the lash. So first things first is it says 0.05, which is the weight of the lash. Then it has a CC curl, and then it says mix. So mix is where the length would actually be. So in this scenario, when you open up your mix tray, you will see the lengths on the side of the strip. It'll show you 8mm all the way down to 16mm. But if you were working with single length trays, the length would be right here. So you would see like 8mm here or 16mm here, or whatever the length is that you're working with. So that is how you would find your length and know where to kind of organize your lengths, so that way you're able to kind of grab them at a quicker pace. Sometimes it's easy to either sort them by weight or sort them by curl or sort them by length. So that way everything's nice and organized and you can pick them up, and that way you're not kind of scrambling throughout your set, because that does also add time to your set. So now let's talk about how to determine which length to use. So there are a large range of lengths between, I would say, 5mm all the way up to like 25mm in lengths, right? Of course, 25mm is extremely long, and then 5mm would be extremely short. So you kind of want to be somewhere in the middle. So you want to have a nice range of lashes where you can cater to different natural lashes, and you can cater different sets, different clients' eye shapes, and just basically what clients want, right? So it is a little bit more based on your clientele specifically. Some people have a more natural clientele where they actually do prefer a more natural look. So then you would probably carry 5mm to maybe like 12mm max. Or some people have a super long clientele that loves the drama, and then they're probably looking at somewhere between like 12, 13 to like 20, 25, depending on the length that they want. Maybe not even starting at 12 or 13, maybe starting a little bit higher, like 16. Honestly, in my opinion, that is too long, and I don't recommend you do that, but I'm just giving you guys an example of where you could be and where you would have to kind of store your lashes in terms of purchasing. So I would say that I carry anywhere between let's say shortest would be like a 7mm, maybe 7 or 8, all the way to a 16mm. So I'm kind of in the center of that range. I do carry the 7, 8, 9s, but generally I start with my inner corners around like 9s, 10s, because that's just an average of what my clients like. So when you're actually looking to determine which set or which type of length will work best for your client, you do want to give a good look at their eye shape and kind of analyze it for a minute. So the way that I look at people is I kind of see where their lid is, so where their lash line is, and then their brows. So if you're looking at a client, so let's say for instance, sorry, I'm looking at a mirror, that's why. So for instance, if you're looking at me, I have a nice space between my lid and my brow. I wouldn't say I have a lot of space between my lid and my brow, but I have an average space between my lid and my brow. So that means when I open up my eyes, my natural lashes are not touching my eyebrows, but they're not far from it. Like they're not super, super low to the sense that it doesn't look like I have any eyelashes. So my eye shape could probably handle anywhere between, I'd say longest, like a 14mm. I've done a 14mm, and to be honest, it is a bit long on me. So I'm definitely more on the average bracket. So like 12, 13 would be kind of my length. And you can tell that just by looking at where my brows sit between my lash line and my brows. You can see that I don't have a ton of space in there. So if you were to put like a 16 on me, it would literally touch my eyebrows. So this is something that you definitely want to consider when you're working with your clients, but it does take some trial and error for you to understand exactly where the lengths would put your client in terms of how their natural lashes look. So in my opinion, the best way to go about this is to actually work with your client. So let's say you have a first-time client that is working with you and they want to come to you and get lashes. They're not sure what length they use, and you know what, you use your discretion and you're like, hey, you know what, you don't really have too much space. Let's keep it a little bit conservative and go on a shorter length. So maybe you start at maybe an 8, 9, and then go to the longest as like a 12. Maybe they don't like it. Maybe they want something longer. That's okay. This is where you talk to your client and say, hey, no worries at all. This was our first try. It's a really good understanding to understand that your client is working with you. The next time they come in, you remember, hey, okay, the 12s were a little short. Let me go a little bit longer. Start mixing in some lengths in there so that way they're able to see a little bit of a change. And sometimes it doesn't even take a lot. Sometimes it's literally going from a 12 and just adding some 13s on the ends to kind of give it a little bit more of a lift. Or sometimes it's even just changing the curl to kind of lift the lashes a little bit more. Maybe they want that. And then vice versa. Whether you do it too long, you can always lower the lengths, and then that way they get a little bit more conservative with the way the lashes look and they like it better. So it totally takes a trial and error situation. There's no one formula or one set of lengths that are going to work for every single client, because that is just unrealistic. And I know a lot of the times when we get questions, people kind of ask like, okay, which lengths do I use? What lengths do I use? But it varies client to client. So your best bet is to kind of learn what works for each eye shape and kind of see what makes sense in maneuvering between people's lash line and brows and seeing what kind of works for that space they have. Okay, if you guys actually are interested in seeing some lengths in action, definitely follow us at Flowrish Lashes on Instagram, because we always post lash maps, we post other lash artists' work, and you can get a full visual representation of what certain lengths look like, because we always put the details in there. So if you guys are interested in that, the link will be in my description. Okay, so that is it for this video. I hope that it was helpful. I get a ton of questions on length, so I did want to clarify it a little bit more. If you guys actually want to see what I'm talking about in terms of length, I can definitely show you guys certain sets when it comes to that. So let me know if you guys want that video. Comment down below if you like that idea. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back with something new next time. Bye.